Monday Night Raw draws the lowest non-holiday rating ever in the history, the 27 plus years of the show. At this point, I can't really say I'm surprised because everything I've said on this channel for the last month, it's just coming to fruition and we're seeing it in front of our eyes. Okay, these numbers, okay, I'll get the number up right now. Literally, this week's show drew an average of 1.913 million viewers on the USA Network. 1.913. To put that into perspective, that number is down 10% from last week's show, which got 2.118 million for the post-WrestleMania 36 show. Jesus Christ, these numbers are getting really, really bad. Okay, just for some perspective, so as I said, this is the lowest non-holiday number in the history of Raw, in the 27 plus year history of this show, okay, and to put that into perspective, the Christmas episode last year drew 1.835 million viewers, and then the Christmas episode in 2018 drew 1.775 million. Okay, and they're Christmas episodes. No one wants to watch a holiday Raw show filled with Miracle on 34th Street fights when Christmas is like a day away, okay? No one watches those shows, but these shows? What's the excuse, okay? Outside of the fact that there's no crowd, but that's literally all there is, because this is 8 days after WrestleMania 36, okay? 8 days after WrestleMania, and they're getting these numbers. I hate to see the numbers in 3 months' time, okay? This is just going to get worse and worse. I'm going to predict they're going to pull a 1.5 million number sometime during this time period. Okay, this is horrendous. A 1.913 million viewer number. Okay, and to put into perspective, as I've said, outside of those two Christmas episodes, which no one watches Christmas episodes, outside of those two shows, this is the lowest rating in Raw's history. Okay, and as far as hour by hour, first hour drew 1.994 million. Which, right away, the fact that the first hour of the show, when the intrigue is there to see what they're going to do, they couldn't even pull over 2 million for that? Really? And, the thing with this week's ratings, so, as I said, hour 1, 1.994, hour 2, 1.913, so there was a drop by about 80,000 viewers there, which that's not the worst hour 1 to hour 2 drop, and then the final hour drew 1.832 million viewers. So, the thing with this week, it's not like one of these weeks where they have a 600,000 viewer drop from hour 1 to hour 3. This one, it's fairly consistent. And what this tells me is that your core audience is about 1.8 million viewers. Okay, that's what I'm getting out of this. That's really what I'm taking out of it, because really, if you were watching Raw in the second and the third hour last night, you are a diehard fan. Okay, I'm sitting there watching that show live as it happens. I'm thinking to myself, if I didn't have this growing platform, this channel, I would not be doing this, okay? Because as much as some people want to defend last night's show and say that, well, I thought it progressed storylines, man. We had Zelina Vega's stable look really good, man. We had build for Money in the Bank. We had Drew McIntyre getting attacked by Seth Rollins. Okay, it was a good 3-hour show. Okay, look. You've got to take into account that when there's no crowd, it makes what would, on normal TV, on a normal week, a year ago, let's say, be fine. That show last night, a year ago, boring show, but there's a crowd, so I guess it's okay. But when there's no crowd, there's no life, there's no enthusiasm, there's no fun. It feels like a chore to watch. And that's reflective of the rating. 1.913 million viewers on the USA Network tuned in. Okay, the lowest non-holiday rating in the history of Monday Night Raw. 1.913 million viewers. And as I've said, this isn't going to get better. Okay, nothing they're doing is going to make this get better. Because next week, what are we getting on Raw next week? We're getting MVP versus Apollo Crews in a Money in the Bank qualifying match. We're getting, Aleister Black versus Austin Theory, which, for die-hard wrestling fans and followers of NXT, that's a really cool match. Aleister Black, Austin Theory should be really good and fun. But outside of that, it's just okay, it's happening. We're getting Rey Mysterio versus Murphy. Cool match. I'm looking forward to it. Should be a good match. But with that being said, the intrigue for Money in the Bank is dead. No one cares to see Money in the Bank 2020. Okay, the fact that Money in the Bank is still going ahead and it's going to happen in front of no one, like we saw the ladder matches First off, the ladder match at WrestleMania 36 Night 1, Jimmy Uso, Kofi Kingston, and John Morrison, the SmackDown tag belts. We saw on that night what a ladder match looks like in front of no one, and it's brutal, okay? It's the performers, putting themselves through the bodily, pain and the harm that goes into a ladder match, but there's no, instant reward from the crowd, okay? There's no, you go through a ladder, you take a powerbomb through a ladder off, the top of a ladder or something, you take a massive hard bump that can debilitate you, and normally you get the adrenaline of the live fans, the arena really makes you feel like it's justified. But when you're doing it in front of no one, the performers get nothing out of it. The people at home, it doesn't feel nearly as impactful because, oh, okay, well, there's no crowd, I don't really care. As these people, these wrestlers are taking years off their life at these ladder bumps. So that was the WrestleMania men's one. Then we had the NXT women's number one contender ladder match on NXT a week later. And now we're going to do a Money in the Bank pay-per-view with 2 Money in the Bank ladder matches. Okay? And also, intrigue in the product is abysmal, as we can see by this rating. And to coincide with that, intrigue for Money in the Bank, as I've said, Money in the Bank, no one cares. Okay? Who are they going to have win Money in the Bank? Who should win? Aleister Black for the men, Sasha Banks for the women. Will they have both of those people win? Probably not. Will we see someone like, Baron Corbin or Elias win Money in the Bank for the men, and for the women, someone like Shayna Baszler? Probably. Okay? Literally, the interest and the faith in the WWE right now is abysmal. The fact that they're still running and getting the worst non-holiday number ever shows that putting these performers at risk, putting everyone involved in the production of the show at risk, doing all of this is not worth it, okay? 1.913 million viewers on the USA Network last night. 8 days after WrestleMania, and that is the number you're getting. And watch, I fully expect WWE backstage, they're going to have to blame something on this number. They're not going to blame the fact that the show is excruciatingly boring, the fact that there's no creativity, there's no engagement, there's no reason to care, okay? WWE, Vince McMahon, will probably blame Drew McIntyre. That number, 1.913, is Drew McIntyre's fault. Not to mention the fact that, as I've said, there's no life, enthusiasm, interest, care in the show. That's all Drew McIntyre's fault. So that's what I expect the backstage will think of this number. But oh my god, this number is just... I'm just literally looking at it on my screen, 1.913 million. I'm just thinking to myself, this company used to draw 9 million viewers in per episode of Raw. And Nitro would draw 6 million. And now we're at this stage where the flagship show, Monday Night Raw, is drawing 1.9 million viewers. Are you kidding? It shows how far this show has fallen. It shows how little people care, okay? It just, to the hardest of hardcores, Drew McIntyre vs. Andrade is cool. And I bet the reason there wasn't that hour 1 to hour 3 drop is because amongst the hardcore fan base, the interest is there for Drew McIntyre vs. Andrade, okay? The thing is, as I said earlier with that hour 1 to hour 3 drop, this week the hour 1 to hour 3 drop is 160,000 viewers. Normally that's around 300 to 500,000, so I think the hardcore base cared to see Drew McIntyre vs. Andrade. So you can't blame this on Drew McIntyre, solely. But what you can blame is the fact that this is now, the 5th Monday Night Raw to take place in front of no crowd, and all of them have been taped, basically, outside of, the first one. So pretty much, essentially, what you're doing is watching 3 hours, 3 hours of content in front of no crowd, so there's no life to the shows. You're just watching 3 hours of bad wrestling in front of no crowd, and it's taped. Who wants to watch that outside of the 1.8 million hardcores who watched the 3rd hour last night? Outside the 1.646 million viewers who watched the Go Home Raw 3rd hour, okay? Literally, this shows you that outside of this 1.8 million number in the 3rd hour, no one cares to see any of this on the show. Okay, nothing on the show last night, this is just my opinion, nothing on the show last night makes me think, damn, I need to see next week. Okay, nothing about the Money in the Bank qualifiers makes me think, damn, I need to see that. Okay, and for a really hardcore wrestling purist, Rey Mysterio vs. Murphy, that's awesome. Aleister Black, Austin Theory, cool. Apollo Crews MVP, cool match. But what's that going to do to a casual viewer? I know, Money in the Bank qualifiers are necessary, it's better than them just putting people in Money in the Bank. But you can do a show like last night where you begin the show, have the Drew McIntyre Andrade segment. It's pretty good. And the first thing we hear is, tonight, here's what you've got to look forward to. Nia Jax versus Kairi Sane. You've got Shayna Baszler versus Sarah Logan. You've got, what was the other one? Asuka versus Ruby Riott. Now, Asuka versus Ruby Riott was like a good match. But realistically, it was Asuka screaming and doing her like dancing. And then Ruby Riott, who she's been on TV like twice in the last 3 months. So you're getting shows like this, and I'm sitting here as a viewer thinking, why should I care? What about this makes me invested? What about this makes me want to keep watching? And nothing. So they get a 1.913 million viewer number this week. Coming out of this, where are they going to go next week? What will next week draw? Probably a 1.9 again. What will the build to Money in the Bank draw? Probably 1.8 to 1.9. And coming out of Money in the Bank, who knows? Maybe Raw's going to draw 1.5 or 1.6 million viewers. Because honestly, interest is the worst it's ever been in pro wrestling. This number reflects it. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to like, comment, and sub. Monday Night Raw, drawing this number, just, wow, really, really bad. So leave down below what you think. See ya.